Hey, this is Carrie Canary Quilts, and we are working on the Fat Quarter Shop Piece and Quilt Sampler Quilt Along, and we are on our last month. This is the blocks for January, and we are just doing half square triangles, but we have 140 of them to do. You can see this is the quilt we did, and you can see the border right here in the quilt. That's what we're working on. I'm going to show you which papers to use. I'm going to show you how I decided what colors to use and how I cut my papers to do that, and then how to sew the papers. That's what I've been doing in this series, is going through the foundation paper piece notion set that Fat Quarter Shop sold for this quilt. But you do not need it to make any quilt in this book. There's several quilt patterns in this book. I highly recommend it. I've really enjoyed it. I'm making this quilt, and I'm making another quilt out of here also. So I have a link to this down below if you want to check it out and try this quilt. So we're doing the half square triangles, and I do have them done. They're just hard to hang up. There's nothing special. This is what they look like. I've got the paper on the back, but I do have 140 of these. And again, I'm just going to show you how I cut my paper and how I chose how to do my colors. So hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you want to see how this turns out in the end, and if you want to do all the other fun stuff we got going on here. So let's do some half square triangles. Well, here we are. We are to the half square triangle border, which is what we're doing in January for Piece and Quilt. This is just going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work of the same thing, but we can do it. So we're going to be working on this half square triangle border you see here. We need 140 half square triangles. This is upside down, and that's what the book says we need. And we need the 2 1/4 finished half square triangles on a row by It's So Emma if you're using the foundation paper piece box that Fat Quarter Shop sold for this quilt. That's what I bought. That's what I've been demonstrating for the last year, is just which fat quarter or which foundation paper pieces to use from that box. Again, you do not have to paper piece this quilt. You can do it just with the instructions that are in this book. So 2 1/4 finished roll. To get 140 half square triangles, we need 35 rows. And what I'm calling a row is these 4 right here, between this solid line and this solid line. You can see it better here. This solid line and this solid line. There's 4 half square triangles here. And so you need 35 of these rows, and that's what I have cut here. I have 35 of them. Now, this is super long. You're not going to get it all on one piece of fabric. If you bought the fabric kit, there's different colors in here. You'll have to figure out how many you need of each color. What I did a little bit of math and found out that 7 fabrics, it comes out evenly, but if 7 fabrics will make 5 of these rows. So I've gone ahead and picked out 7 different fabrics for my half square triangle border. So I'm going to cut these at every 5, and I will have 7 sets of 5 rows. That's how I'm doing it. That's pretty much a fat quarter. Just a little bit less than a fat quarter, which is what I've been using. So let me pull my fabrics out and show you real quick what I'm working with. My 7 sets of fabrics. I've already put them together in sets. This is my red set. This is my blue set. This is my yellow set. This is my teal set. Right here, these 2 fabrics. And I have a black set right here. I have a brownish set and a lavender set. So those are my 7 sets of fabrics. I am going to get set up so that I can cut from all of these fabrics and show you what it looks like for me going forward. I have my first set of fabrics out here, and they're both full fat quarters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up together, and I'm going to cut both fabrics at the same time. Since I don't have any odd shapes, I have a fat quarter. All right, so I'm going to lay my paper on here. Make sure that I have fabric on these edges, and then so when I cut, I want to cut outside of the paper. And there we go. There's my first set of half square triangles. And you can see I have both pieces of fabric under here, so we want to put our fabrics right sides together. Put our paper on so that the back side of our paper is on the back side of the fabric. And I'm going to pin it in place so it doesn't scooch on me. So that's how I'm cutting out for each set of 5 rows from all my fabrics that I did. So I'm going to get these all ready to go to my machine. I'll show you what they look like before I do that. Here's all 7 sets of my half square triangle papers attached to their fabrics. Fabrics are right sides together, and I have my papers pinned down. I am ready to go. So all of these are going to be exactly the same. I would make sure you have enough bobbin in your bobbin thread in your machine, because it's going to take a while, and there's nothing more frustrating than running out of bobbin thread and you don't know it. So I'm going to go over to my machine, and on every one of these I'm going to follow the dashed line and the arrow. I'm going to sew on every dashed line I see on my paper, following the direction of the arrows, and then we'll come back and we'll get these cut up. So I will see you in a while. That's going to take a minute. There we go. I got all my pieces sewn together on the dashed line. Now I just need to trim all my half square triangles out of here. I like to trim on my outer solid line first, because it's one of the longest. Just flip it. Do this side. So now I'm going to do my short outer lines. Flip it, do the other one. And then I'm going to go right up the middle. That's my next longest. That's another long line. There we go. So now I can use a shorter ruler, and I can start cutting here. You can either cut the squares and then the diagonals. It's however you want to do it now. But just always remember, solid lines are the ones you cut on. Which should be easy at this point because you've sewn on the dash lines. All right. So let's see, I have 136 more of these to cut out. So I'll show you what they look like then. This the border is just tedious. It's just going to take a long time to get these half square triangles done, ironed, and ready to go to be put together for this border. So there you go. 2 1/4 half square, 2 1/4 inch half square triangle rolls by It's So Emma that was in your foundation paper piece set for this quilt that Fat Quarter Shop sold. That's what I'm doing here. And again, you do not need to paper piece any of this quilt. You can just grab the book and start making the quilts. There we go. I got all my half square triangles cut out and ironed out. So at this point, we are ready to make the border, which will probably come next week, or you can do it this month. The instructions in Celebrate with Quilts book is very clear on how to do it. At this point, I think what I'm going to do is put these in a bowl, mix them up real good, and just start pulling colors out. Make it random for me. But that's what the half square triangle border is going to look like. Right there. So, not much this week. Just wanted to let you know that we're using the 2 1/4 inch half square triangle rolls by It's So Emma. And you need 140 of them. Again, 35 rows of 4 is what you'll need. And then at that point, you need to decide how you're doing your colors and how many you need to do. But I hope I helped out. Let me know how it's going for you. And next month, I'll come back and show you my finished quilt. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you'll get notified of my quilt being finished and all the other fun stuff we got going on here. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.